In December 1989, Romania became the last country in Eastern Europe to overthrow its communist regime. Unlike the relatively peaceful transitions in Poland, Hungary, and Czechoslovakia, Romania's revolution turned violent. At its center was Nicolae Ceaușescu, the dictator whose iron-fisted rule, personality, cult, and failed economic policies led to his dramatic downfall. Ceaușescu's rise and cult of personality. Nicolae Ceaușescu rose to power in 1965 after the death of Gheorghe. Initially, he was seen as a reformer and even gained Western approval for criticizing Soviet domination. But as the years went on, he built an oppressive regime around himself and his wife, Elena. A massive cult of personality glorified them as the genius of the Carpathians and the mother of the nation. Their portraits adorned every building. Their speeches were broadcast endlessly. And dissent was crushed by the feared Securitate secret police. Economic disaster and growing discontent by the 1980s. Ceaușescu's policies had pushed Romania into crisis. Determined to pay off foreign debt, he imposed brutal austerity measures. Food, fuel, and electricity were rationed. Ordinary Romanians lived in cold apartments, queued for hours for bread, and saw their children go hungry. Meanwhile, Ceaușescu funneled state resources into grandiose projects, such as the enormous Palace of the Parliament in Bucharest, one of the largest buildings in the world, while the people suffered. The spark in Timișoara, the revolution began in mid-December 1989 in the city of Timișoara. The attempted eviction of a Hungarian pastor, Laszlo T., turned into mass protests. Security forces opened fire, killing dozens, but the repression only fueled anger. Word spread quickly, despite strict censorship. By December 21st, demonstrations had reached Bucharest. Ceaușescu attempted to address a rally in front of thousands in Palace Square. But for the first time, the crowd jeered instead of applauding. The live broadcast cut off, and the dictator looked visibly shaken. Collapse of a regime within hours. Protests engulfed the capital. The army, once loyal, switched sides and joined the demonstrators. On December 22nd, Ceaușescu and Elena fled by helicopter from the roof of the Communist Party headquarters. But their escape was short-lived, captured within a day. They were hastily tried by a military tribunal on charges of genocide, corruption, and undermining the state. On Christmas Day, December 25th, 1989, Nicolae and Elena Ceaușescu were executed by firing squad. The images of their trial and deaths spread rapidly, signaling the definitive end of one of Eastern Europe's most repressive regimes. Legacy of the Romanian Revolution. The fall of Ceaușescu was both brutal and cathartic. Over 1,000 people died in the December Revolution, making it the bloodiest of Eastern Europe's transitions. But it also marked the birth of a new Romania, one free of dictatorship and open to democracy. Even today, Romanians remain divided over aspects of that revolution, questions of whether the trial was too rushed, whether all the truth has been revealed, and how to deal with the legacy of communism. But one thing is clear: the fall of Ceaușescu was a turning point, not just for Romania, but for the collapse of Soviet-style regimes across Europe.